Howdy, welcome. My name's Anna, and today I want to play with my Oden's eye palettes. I pulled out two. Basically what I want to do is compare the old formula to the new formula, and I'm not going to do the oldest formula because I didn't think that the shades that I have, because I didn't think the shades really matched up as well, and I kind of wanted to get something that looked a little bit more similar, a little bit more comparing apples to apples, although these are very different anyway. Anyways, I'm doing two of the older palettes, which are about 3 years old, give or take, and that is the Alva 2 palette, very pretty, and the Norns palette. Okay, so I wanted to take those two for the older formula, and then the newest collection, the Legendary Diversa 2 collection, which was the Earthwood palette, the Spring Dragon palette, and Mighty Monster palette. So that's what I'm going to work with today. I thought the first thing that I could do is take some swatches. And again, these are not going to be completely apples to apples. Colorways, I actually was impressed in looking at these, at the variation of color in all of these palettes. But I'm going to swatch just some that look somewhat similar to me. So the first one, I think this shade Wood from Earthwood palette, and this shade Coffee from the Alva 2 palette. So I've had, you know, these two palettes, I think I got them a little later than they came out, so they're at least 2 years old, and these other palettes are newer. So there is a chance that they could have degraded a little bit over time. So that's something to keep in mind and to consider, obviously. And I think they would even admit, I mean, I think they've changed the formula and I think they have improved it, but I just kind of wanted to compare them. You know, I love me a comparison. Anyways, this is the shade from the Earthwood palette. And this is the shade from, they actually swatched kind of similarly. They're a little different color, obviously. But actually, both of those swatched really well. So that's cool. Let's do, there is this sort of tealish green in the Mighty Monsters palette. And I want to compare that to this greenish blue. It's a little bit more in the blue shade, but this one is called Outsider from the Norns palette. Ooh, that feels really soft, actually. Wow. Huh. So that's the newer formula, and that's the older formula. Yeah, I would say that the newer formula did swatch better on that one, but barely. I mean, it's pretty dang good. Pretty good. All right. Now I'm going to check out, let's see, let's go into the Spring Dragon palette, into Rain, just a light kind of baby blue, powdery blue, and then in the Alva 2 palette, Blue Peafowl. Yeah, actually those feel really soft. I think those swatch pretty similarly too. This one looked smaller at first, but also my finger is smaller, so interesting. Yeah, those actually swatched very similarly. This is interesting. I didn't play around with this at all. I wanted to like capture it all on film. Okay, let's see what else I can compare here. These look fairly similar. This is, so Spring Dragon going into Moss, kind of a shimmery green. These shimmers, you know, their shimmers have always been really good though. I was gonna say their shimmers are so good, but but I think they've always been pretty impressive. And then I was thinking that it was sort of similar to, in the Norns palette, this Optimism, which looks a little bit less green to me. There's a little more like gray or something in it. Wow, yeah, that feels really nice. Interesting. So, I'm gonna say equally impressive, different colors, clearly. Wow. Well, this is fun. This is fun. Let's see. I know that there was another, yeah, here we go. In the Earthwood palette, I wanted to check out Life. It's like kind of coral matte. And Peach Juice in Alva 2. Okay, these have held up really well. I've had them for a while. Okay, I mean, Oden's Eye, you're impressing me right now. Like, I was under the impression that their formulas have gotten better, and maybe they have, but like, these are all performing really well. I suppose, I think that they've done more sort of duochromes, and multichromes. Like, and I'm not gonna do anything with the press glitters. They don't do those anymore. And so I'm not gonna even swatch those or deal with those, but let's see. I don't think I'm gonna have any like equal like multichromes, like the same color. But I will just go into a duochrome and sort of show you. Here, we'll do a couple of them. We'll do Hallucination and Self, which are both duochromes. Oh, that feels so nice. It's like wet. Okay, interesting. They are kind of thin. They're thin formula. Anyways, these are both from the Norns palette. So there are a couple duochromes for you. And I don't see it as much here, but this one you can really see that reflect, the different color reflect. And then this is quite an impressive shade, I think, called Beauty from the Earthwood palette. And then I'll go into this shade from Mighty Monsters called Glow Vortex. Wow. Ooh, that feels so soft. Okay. Oh yeah, those feel a little wetter. And interesting, they're kind of not quite as textured. So maybe that's it's like the mattes all seem to be pretty equal actually, but I would say the shimmers seem like they've gotten like a little bit of an upgrade. Anyways, I'm going to clean this off my arms, because if I don't, it's just gonna end up all over my shirt. Okay, I've zoomed in just a little bit, and my eyes are primed with the Anastasia Beverly Hills eye primer and my Pat McGrath under eye powder. This is just the original one. I didn't get the pink one. I just have so much of this. I feel like I should just use this. Also, I have kind of a yellow undertone. I don't know what a pink, I should try a pink powder, to be honest, because I've heard good things, and I don't know, with my like kind of yellow leaning undertone. I just wonder, it might actually look kind of nice. A little curious, but yeah, trying to also not spend a lot of money. Anyways, let's get into the look. Like I said, I want to try to do something that's a little bit similar from side to side. So I'm going to start on my right eye. We'll do the right eye with the newer palettes and the left eye with the older palettes. A somewhat wee fluffy brush. I'm gonna start with that. So the right side, new palette. This is Earthwood in wood. And I'm just going to place that in my outer V. I've begun without a plan per usual. I'm gonna take a different brush of the same style and go into Pragmatism here in the Norns palette. I actually kind of like this shade of brown a little better. It's a little bit cooler. Wow, yeah, I mean, that's nice. That is nice. Do I go coral? Yeah, I guess we're gonna do a real earthy look today. All right, so taking this kind of corally shade called Fire. Is that what it's called? Life. It's called Life. With that same brush, actually. And I'm gonna take that above. I'm gonna kind of go with a light hand here. Really try to blend that. That's cute. Okay. And now on the other side, thank you, sun, for going away. I'm going to use Peach Juice from All the Two. Ooh. I almost dropped that on the ground. Not ideal. Not ideal. All right. Doing the same thing. Ooh, this one almost seems, did I just, oh. Woo, this one's really pigmented. Ooh, ooh, Nelly. Okay, well, that's interesting. It doesn't look that much brighter in the pan either, huh? Okay, interesting. I would say I got a little more than I was asking for because I was expecting it to be like this side, but that's fine. I'm just gonna add a little more on the other side of the Life, the shade Life. Maybe I just knocked most of the excess off of that one. Interesting. Okay. There's not really a similar shimmer going on in these palettes, which I'm a little concerned about. How am I gonna make that work? But it's gonna be fine. Ooh, actually, let's see. These might be like ever so slightly similar. But I need to put, okay, all right, focus, Anna. I need to do something here. What do I want to do there? Is light blue gonna work for that? Well, I tell you what, we're gonna try it. I'm gonna use a different brush. Yeah, just a smaller fluffy brush. And go into the spring. No, I'm going to Mighty Monsters and use this shade Oceanic. It's not the one that I swatched. I swatched one in the Spring Dragon palette. I'm just kind of trying to mix it up a little bit. I don't know. Use as much as possible. And I'm going to put that on this inner corner here. I almost feel like the newer ones are like a little bit less pigmented, which could be nice if you're trying to, I'm not going to get into that orange too much because I don't want to blend them because it'll just turn into a muddy color. A less pigmented eyeshadow is a little easier to work with. And that's kind of like a theme that I'm noticing here. I don't know if that's actually true or not, or if it's just my imagination. I feel like user error is like something we should always consider in my video. So now going into blue Peafowl, this light blue here. I'm gonna put that on the other side. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I think they are more pigmented. It's interesting. All right. So I'm gonna need to go in a little heavier with the other side. That's fascinating. I was not expecting that, but it actually kind of makes sense because like having it be a little bit more buildable makes it easier to work with. Wow, Oden's Eye. I've always loved this brand. Oops. From like day one. I've loved this brand. Okay, now I'm gonna take a gamble and I'm going to go into this leaf shade here. And I want to, and this is from the Earthwood palette, one of the newer ones. And I want to put that just kind of fill in on my lid where there is no shadow, like in my crease, just to get some color there. I'm not too worried about that showing up so much, as I just don't want my lid to be bare there. All right, and then it looks like this shade Dazed is gonna do a similar thing from the Norns palette. I'm gonna tap that off good, because, okay. Okay, no, that one seems a little less pigmented. It could be the color though. And then actually on this side, I am noticing this doesn't seem as well blended. And so I'm gonna go back in and sort of try to fix that. All right. So now I want to throw something on my lid that's gonna be shimmery and gorgeous. The shimmers are really different. I don't know. I'm at an impasse here, trying to decide what to do. I think my best bet is to try to use this green called Moss from the Spring Dragon palette, and I'm going to put that on my lid, kind of 3/4 of the way across. And just get it into my inner corner too. Ooh. Well, dang, that's a pretty shade. Okay, and that was like super easy to use. And gonna see if maybe the shade Green Elves from Alva 2 feels really nice. I think it's gonna be a little bit brighter green, but that's okay. I think that was my closest option. Yeah, this is nice, but I do feel like, yeah, it's like a little bit drier or something, not quite as like luminous. It was a little bit harder to work with, like just barely. But it's actually pretty nice. I'm gonna go back into those like brown shades that I used in the beginning, and just tap off most of the excess and just go back in here. Wow. I don't know why I thought doing this two-handed was gonna be the easiest thing to do. That was probably not my best move. I'm not gonna lie. Why did I do that? Okay. All right. I mean, whatever. That's fine. Okay. Again, I do think the mats are a little different. The newer ones seem a little bit easier to blend. They're a little less like pigmented, which I think makes them easier to work with. This is like just my sort of rudimentary, you know, look on both sides. I'm gonna finish up my makeup and come back for the lower lash line. Okay, so I'm super digging this shape without anything on the lower lash line. So I'm going to leave it as is, probably put a little bit of mascara on. Yeah. Actually, there was one thing I wanted to do. I'm going to do like an inner corner highlight to sort of compare a couple more shimmers. And these are not going to be the same, but I'm going to try Glow Vortex from the Mighty Monster palette. On this side. Woo! Cool. And then the other side, I'm going to try this kind of duochrome called Pink Chameleon from the Norns palette. These eyes are slightly different anyway, so why not just go full. Yeah, it's actually fairly similar color. This one is not as shiny on this side. It's a little bit of a more subtle shine. In fact, maybe I'll swatch those real quick. Oh yeah, those are actually fairly similar. This is the newer one called Glow Vortex. And this is from the Norns palette called Pink Chameleon. So this one's just got almost more like of a base shade to it. But those are pretty nice. Both of them. Okay, all right. I feel like I got some like shimmer down here on accident, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of shimmer on the other side to like kind of even that out a little bit. All right, I think that's a little bit more even. Okay, I'm gonna put some mascara on and I'll be right back. Okay, well, this was very pleasantly surprising. Not surprising, but I'm impressed, ever impressed with Oden's Eye. This has definitely been one of my favorite brands since I've known about them, and I'm super impressed. The inner corner shades both look pretty darn nice. I love this look. I always feel like my Oden's Eye looks usually come out pretty good no matter what. And this is something very different than I would usually do. I think I just sort of was forced to use certain colors that I might not always put together. And I really like the way that this turned out. And they are different but similar. As far as the formula, you know, like I said, I feel like maybe the older palettes actually have more pigmented mattes. And that there might be, I think there's an upgrade in the shimmers in the newer palettes, but it's not like the old ones are like bad and the new ones are good. It's like the old ones are like great and the new ones are like, wow. Like there's not a huge difference. I was actually expecting it to be I was expecting this to go very differently. I was expecting that the new ones were going to be a lot better than the older ones, and they're not. They're like fairly similar. Again, I think maybe a little easier to work with the newer ones. They seemed to be a little bit more buildable. which I think I personally like. Some people might like that like punch of color, especially if you're like super professional. I don't know, like you really know what you're doing, because I'm just a, you know, doing this for fun hobbyist, makeup hobbyist. But beautiful palettes all around, like really nice formulas all around. So I can still recommend these older palettes. Yeah, I don't really use the pressed glitters. I actually don't mind pressed glitters. I know that there's some makeup like YouTubers and things that do not like pressed glitter and won't buy a palette with pressed glitter in them, but I actually kind of enjoy them. I think for a while I think I didn't like pressed glitters because it was like the thing not to like pressed glitters, but for the record, I like pressed glitters. I think they look pretty. I don't know how good they are for your eyes. I think that's maybe a different story. But yeah, I like everything. All of these I really like and could recommend. They're really fun. This was fun today, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you're having a good week, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side alive. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side alive.